Hello everyone, this is Barbie. I thought I'd make a video on the second prompt in the Index Card a Day challenge. I may need to speed it up because I've noticed I seem to take a long time to do these videos. It's just not easy to try and draw real quickly, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm going to jump right in. I've got some watercolor pencils that are Caran Supra color 2 soft is what it says. And then my liner of choice today is the Pigma Micron, and I tend to use a 01 liner. I love those. I love this little ruler. I'll put links to this. This is Westcott, and they are wonderful. It's easy to measure things out, and I also use a Tim Holtz ruler a lot of times. But those are about the only supplies. I do use a white Posca pen to add in a little bit of white highlight every once in a while. So I'm going to start right in. Now this one is Marigold, and I thought I'd make a crazy sort of whimsical face, something fun. That's what I'm going to start with. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So the first thing I like to do is think of the fact that I want about a ½ inch around the sides, because when I take photos, the cards always seem to warp. So it really helps if you have a little bit of play. I guess I'm sort of a perfectionist. I think the idea of ICAD is not to be a perfectionist, and I'm probably the worst criminal it is when it comes to perfection. Anyway, so I'm going to start with that, and then I want to have a vase. Now what I want to do, I want to make both sides even. So I will take this card, fold it in half. I'm going to make a template of sorts. I did sketch something out, but I'm gonna sort of wing it. So that's gonna be the top of the vase. And there's the bottom, and perhaps make some fun big shoes. So something along these lines, and then I'll have some marigolds and so forth. Now, this already looks way too huge. So let's try it smaller. There's nothing that says I can't change. So that's what I'm going to do. And don't worry if it's hard for you to see. So I'm getting my scissors, and I'm just going to cut it. And this is my trick to trying to keep things even, because I'm very bad about symmetry. I really like symmetry. I like things to be even. I know they're fun wonky, and I'm sure I have my share of wonky stuff. But this is the way I want it. So there. Now it doesn't have to be perfect. This is going to be the penciled in vase. And then I'll go over it with my Micron liner. Okay, so I do have something there. And then I think at the top I'm going to make some just some big marigolds. And I want to do ferns because I want to incorporate another prompt. Now, if you see what I'm doing, I'm going to cut this. I still think it's way too high. So I'm going to be cutting it and making it smaller, probably keeping those big old legs. Oh yeah, that'll be great. Okay, so first thing I start doing, I try and hold it there. Now, since it's a 4x6 index card, I can measure across and I can see where 2 is, and that's the middle of this index card. I can also measure down since it's 6-inch, and I can see that 3 is, and typically I like to do things in thirds. So I think that's close enough. Okay, and I'm just sketching to give myself a somewhat symmetrical vase lady. And then I'll be coming up with the story as I go along. Okay, so there she is. Now I want to take this is a clay template for polymer clay, but I like it because it's got the circles marked as to what they are. So I'm just going to do a marigold for her face. So there's the marigold, and then I might have some ferns that are her arms. Okay, marigold. Okay, to do a face, and I have a little video on this, but the way you do a face is just cut it into fourths like that. Here I go trying to make the other side perfect, which brings up what kind of eraser I like to use. And I just found a new eraser, I think from James Burke. And of course I'm going to have a hard time finding it, but it's very cool. I'll have to bring it. I've got it in the last video, so take a look at that. I've got some other supplies in that video you might like. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start lining this thing so I can get it going. Now what I've got next to me, I've got my new iPad, and whether it's cheating or not, I need references. This is what I came up with that I wanted to do for this challenge, but that's way too detailed. I don't think I'll be doing that. So it's just something to have there. Now, what I would do is I would actually go to, say, Chrome, and I would look up some ferns. I like these wonky styled ferns, and they help trigger my thoughts as I'm drawing this. I'm putting this over to the side so I can kind of look at it, but they won't be anywhere near as detailed as those, I'm sure. Okay, and I've made this, I've started with this face. What I do is I draw off sections for the eyes, trying to keep them about the right distance each way. Halfway between the eyes and the chin is the nose, and we'll make just a tiny little nose. And then the new smile I like to make is just a smile, and I put two kind of humps, little V's there, and then a nice little thing under there. So that's the way I've done the face. And I'm going to make the eyes like almonds. Almonds, probably the most important part. Sometimes I even add another guideline at the top and a guideline at the bottom, and then it'll be a little more, I don't want to say symmetrical. It'll be a little more same size. Okay, and so there we are. Now that is our kind of marigold, and I think what I'll do is I'll make her hair is going to be the marigold part. So if you notice, I'm very loosely doing this, and I hope she's recognizable as a marigold when I'm done. I don't know, but we'll see. Probably because everyone's looking at this and they know this is a prompt about marigolds, so maybe so. The leaves for the ferns will come out like that. I'm just laying a foundation for them. And perhaps, let's see, thumb. If I was standing there, and I actually have to do this, in my right hand, the thumb would be, it could be up or down. It'd probably be like in the middle of my hand. But I just make sort of a, you don't need to have a real technically perfect hand. Or a technically perfect fern, because it's not going to be. And there's no way you can do this if you want to have, if you want to make all these prompts, going to have to kind of hurry through them. So I think we'll make her have a bit of a skirt. Like that. Maybe some overall style things here. And then there's the table. Okay, so I'm going to jump right in, and I'm going to start lining her eyes. Very different from work I've been doing on the iPad. Ever since last Christmas, I started doing a lot of digital art on the iPad, and boy, is it different. It's really fun because you can do things a lot faster, make them more, quote, perfect. You know, it's funny, I don't like eyebrows. I don't like to do them on myself. I don't like to do them on on my drawings. Kind of funny. And I'm going to make around her face, you know, it shouldn't be perfect because flowers really are not perfect. They look perfect, but they're actually not. So when I do the second row, I'm trying to do it so that it goes in the middle of each petal before it, in the row on top of it, I should say. Okay, we've got our marigold. I'm happy. Yay. Now comes what I think is kind of the hard part, the ferns. So the fern is from a lady named Lisa Bardot of Bardot Brushes. She does digital art, and I just have fallen in love with her. There's so many good artists out there, but she's just excellent. She has an Art Every Day prompt series that I'll also link below. So I'm all for any of that, where anything that will get you to be much more proactive, doing some something creative, art. I mean, I just love art. And to me, that's drawing. That's my idea of art. But there are many forms. Okay, another lady that I've been tracking even more lately is Holly Pixels. She is fabulous, and she also does digital art, lettering. Can't say enough good things about her. A lot of freebies on her website. So I will put her link in the comments below, or above the comments below in this video, and she's excellent. I'll put both these ladies, I'll put their Instagram accounts there too so you can see them. I think that's good enough. Okay, so we're moving on now. We're going to go to the shoes, and I just kind of like the idea of some big bulky shoes. I know it's getting to be summer, and we'll do some skimpier costumes perhaps in the next upcoming prompts. Now what I'm doing is when I post this, I'll come up with a story. I think I mentioned that before, and I'm still inventing that in my mind. So trust me, I don't have a clue yet. Although her name is definitely going to be Marigold. Marigold Smith, I don't know yet. I'm still working on it, as I said. So I like her. I think she's fine. I may put a pocket and then add some stitches, but I'm just about ready to color her, and then I'll add details on top after I do the coloring. I think I'll also do some, perhaps a couple marigolds below. Now this is turning out to be a little bit too similar to my I have another one that I did that's very recent to this, or very similar to this, but let's see if I can make something like that down there. I love prompts. They just give my gray matter an excellent exercise. Good run for its money. Now I didn't put a face on her because I think it could get really old doing too much of that, but so try the idea. If you like the idea of having a prop, this does help. Sure, you can use anything you've got. The top of an aspirin bottle, I have been known to use things like that before as well. No ferns down here. The only ferns are going to be right there. Okay, so there we are. I think I'm going to call her done. And now what I need to do is erase. Since I have close at hand one of these trusty plastic erasers, I'll probably use this. So I'm going to start with the hair, because that hair is the driest. I don't want to smear. Yeah, I've got to do these a little quicker. I took so long to do hopscotch. That was really awful. And I should be doing the third one at this point. But let me look what that is. I think that one is called Album. Album, which I have an idea for that too. I like to do plays on words. So I'm probably going to look up what I had done in the past. Now, to figure this out, let me try Daisy Yellow. I'm searching, and I'm searching for ICAD prompt. And I'll add in 2020. Let's see what my search engine does here on my new iPad. So it has come up with the 2020 challenge. I'm going to go there. Hopefully my my Wi-Fi and all is cooperating since I'm having all of you watch. Oh, and while I'm at it, I'll throw in a shameless plug. Please visit my blog. It is buzzybarbie.blogspot.com. And I've got some freebies, some coloring. You know, a lot of people have said, ooh, I want to color that. I'd like to color it. Okay, I've put some art up there where the resolution is perfect, because a lot of times I don't have the resolution perfect. I actually do watermark it, and it's not a perfect resolution after it comes out of being watermarked with my signature, but I have a few on my blog, and you can download them and then color them. So here we go, ICAD challenge. Hello. Getting rid of the eraser waste. 2020 challenge. Oh, I'm so impatient. And she's got a lot of information there, a lot of videos to watch, all kinds of fun stuff. While we're waiting for that to come up, gee whiz, I'm going to start coloring, and I'm starting with my lightest color first. Notice the way I color, I do not fill in every little spot. It just depends on how you want to do it. I don't like color blocking myself with colored pencils. I want it to look very free-flowing. I'm thinking I'll make her, let's see, I've also got some Academy Watercolor Derwent. This one's in cream, and it's it was a skin thing I got, a skin set. So I'm just gonna lightly, I think I'm basically just prepping the background. You can't even hardly see this. And then I'll go around it with a little bit deeper. There's yellow ochre. It says yellow ochre. Let's try that. I can't believe I'm obviously having problems with it. There it is. Okay. Okay, everybody dance now. Get the Daisy. So sign up for her newsletter. Buy her some coffee. You know, give her $1 or $2. I always like to donate, you know, some amount, because she has been one of my favorite artists for many years. Here we go. Index card a day. Here's the first 7 prompts for 2020. So it's Hopscotch, Marigold, tomorrow or today, Album. I'm trying to figure out what day of the week it is. I wonder if you're having the same problem as I am, knowing what day it is. Anyway, today's the 3rd. It's Album. And then we've got Sequins, 1980s, Dreamcatcher, and Highway. Fun, fun, very, very fun. Okay, I'm using this color to shade, add some shading there. And I should also, while I'm at it, I'm going to loosely, I'm trying to get faster, because I really do not need to be taking this long. I'm going to do her upper part in yellow. I'll do her shoes, her boots in yellow, and then I think I'll make her outfit green to match the ferns also. Give her some tights. So it's not a fine science that I'm doing here. It's just a lot of fun. Okay, and then also Daisy Yellow, the themes. There's themes for each week. This one is typography, symbols, graffiti, found texts, and lists. So I was going to have her have a list just to round it out, but I don't think I'm going to take the time since I'm running behind. And that's the way I do it sometimes. If I'm running behind, I just don't spend the extra time to, sometimes I go back, and you can, there's nothing wrong with that. So I think I'll also use some yellow on the top of these leaves to give them a bit of a highlight. Now for the fern, I'm going to just do something very different and give it a highlight of orange, which will probably turn it brown. That's okay. And then I'm going to put a green on it. Oh gosh, I do hope you're going to do this. And if you're like a lot of people now with this, we've got some interesting things going on in the world, and we really need to make some beauty, create some beauty. So I hope we do. I hope you'll join me with this challenge. I love to do Inktober as well, and I plan on doing that too this year. Come up with a story. I do have some books on Amazon. I'm in the midst of writing about 3 other books. Gee whiz. I don't know how I can keep so busy, but I do keep busy. Adding a little green at the bottom. And then I'll come in with, I think, let's see. What I ought to do is while I'm at this, I ought to find you the, well, I'll do that later. Okay, so many things I would like to do, so little time. So you see what I'm doing? I'm putting some green on the bottom where there would be shading on the fern. Just a little green. Just a little for each of the leaves in the fern. And then even to bring it in, I'm making the veins and the stems in these marigolds at the bottom. You know, I didn't look at what a whole marigold looks like. It probably didn't look anything like that, but this is my version. That's what it's going to be today. Okay, and then I'm going to make a little bit of a shadow around each petal. And again, I do more line work rather than whole color blocking. People have asked how I color, and this is how I do it, because they'll get the pencils I suggest, which these Caran, I don't know if you can get better ones. I guess that we could all argue that, but they are wonderful. I also like Faber-Castell, and I just ordered a big set of those. I have a small set, but okay, putting in a little deeper shadow. Give her some, she doesn't sleep real good. She's sort of like some of us. She does not sleep real good. So I'm adding in some brown. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know if you're doing okay with our current situation, or if you're anxious to get out in the world rather than staying home so much. I'm not sure we could have, any one of us could ever have envisioned that this would happen in our lifetimes, but we're in it together. And that's the only, probably the best thing about it. So I'm going to do the same thing down here I did above. And that's just pretty much outlining those, the very top row of the marigold. Add in, and I think I'm going to also add in, just to make, because it looks really bland in that color, I'm going to add in some orange. And I think there's a little bit of orange in marigolds. We'll see. Well, I've already added it into the into those ferns. Now I'm going to give her half orange eyes. Fun, fun, very fun. Hope you're coloring along and not just watching this, although I just watch a lot of people. There are some excellent people to watch out there. Got to give a shout out again to James Burke. He's one of my favorites. And April Gleason is does some beautiful little watercolor pieces. Thank you, April. All these folks are just so entertaining. And I'm going to add a few stripes. Okay, so I may add a little orange around here too. And then what I can do is go back and add some texture right there. Okay, now it's time, and I'll show you the method I like the best. I use this Pentel water brush. They do come in a set, and this may be a medium probably. I can't figure out where it says it on there. I know it must say it. Maybe my glasses aren't good enough. I see it says Japan, but anyway, I'm going to start. Now this is where the magic just really starts to happen, and I just love it. So I don't do very careful shading. I just lay on the water, and I would suggest you do that too. And don't soak it, because these index cards won't take a lot. So when I say don't soak it, sometimes I go back with the paper towel, but I'd rather add on something later than add too much on at the beginning. And then I do use a heat gun a little bit, not a lot. I just don't think there's any hard, fast rules. It's whatever you want to do. Oh gosh, there's so many good artists out there. And in my book, I talk about, you know, I've got several books, and I talk about some of them. They're just have such an influence. I've always liked to draw, but I used to get very frustrated because my drawing was not realistic, and I tried really hard to make it look like some of the masters whom I admired at the time very much, but I just couldn't make it realistic. So I learned to look for artists that did whimsical art that I really liked and practice. I did try to use their style. I can't say I've seen anybody with my style, but you know, you try. When you first like people, just go ahead and it helps you develop your style. I would never try to pass their art off as mine. And sometimes it's shocking to me when people show me, look what I did, and it looks just identical to mine. I think, how can anyone do, I can't even do identical to mine. So it's very strange how they do that. Now this looks very pale, but I don't know if that's a bad thing. It's kind of it all looks like it's turning one color. So I think if I can get a little more orange out there, that's what I would like. So I'm going to add a little tinge of red to brighten it a bit. Not a lot, but just a little on these flowers. Now that'll separate them from the ferns, and then I'm going to add a little more bright green onto the ferns. While I'm at it, always worthwhile adding some blush and some lipstick, and that makes everybody brighter. Everybody. Maybe make her buttons red. Go back over these lines so that I can, I'll be going over them with the pen. And well, one more whack at it. So you see how I go back and forth? That's just the way I paint. I'm so excited because I've been thinking about this, doing this one for couple of days now, so it stays on my brain. Okay, I think, you know, that's pretty close to being done. It's pretty close. All I need to do now is hit it with a little bit of heat. So try to do it away from your ears. It doesn't bother you too much. But again, let me know what you're doing. Are you following this prompt challenge? Are you following Lisa Bardot's challenge? Even though it's digital, doesn't mean you can't use her prompts. They're wonderful. Okay. Yesterday was mushrooms, or the day before. Again, I'm losing touch with time. Okay. Now I just want to let it dry a little bit or let it cool off from that heat gun. So I'm drinking green tea over here. I'm not guzzling my vodka or anything like that right now. Now these, you know, these are so interesting. I really enjoy doing this kind of thing. I do them for faces. I do them for flowers. It just helps me, and I really try to keep them, but I can't say that I'm good at it or good at being organized. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and just make little random lines so that she looks even more so like a flower. And then my favorite thing to do is to make dots with this 1.0 pen, One thing I want to try more of this ICAD, I want to try to use different line widths of pen, and let's see if that adds a little interest to the drawings. Now again, it's very weird for me doing this by hand after doing months and months of I use an app called Procreate, and I'm really enjoying that. I like doing double lining typically because it just gives a looser look to the pen work, and not to mention that when you do the pen work after you've watercolored or used your watercolor pencils, it doesn't look as washed out. It looks so much better. Oh, another favorite artist of mine is Cece. Oh my goodness. She's such a fantastic watercolorist. And I used to watch her when she did crafts too. I'm pretty sure she did some craft stuff, but oh, she does some beautiful art. So I'm enjoying her and Casey Golden. Gosh, there's so many that I really like. Another one is Julie Fafan Balzer. She was, I think, my first, and then Tammy was my second when I first, right around the time I retired from my logistics job here in San Diego. So I add in dots for shading, for texture. She is shaping up. And I'll probably spend just a little bit of time doing her boots. So I try to outline them first and then add. I love the granny. I am a product of the 1960s. I know that gives away my age, but a lot of lessons learned in all that time that I'm proud of, so I'm not going to shy away from having everyone know how old I am. Anyway, I love these buttony kind of boots, and I like to make you think that there's some ties that are going around. So I try to think about the physical aspects of things I'm drawing. Again, it's certainly not perfect, but the loops will be coming around. Okay, well, I don't know. I think she's cute. I think she could use some brightening up a little bit. And I don't know if I can get that going now that she's got, I added orange and I did add brown, which was, I think I've made that mistake before. And then afterwards I thought, why did I do that? So another thing I like to do on stems, I like to go like that and add, I don't know what that is. It's almost like they're sewn or something. And then I like to add these little curls. And then again, lots of dots, lots and lots of dots. So in this one, I don't think I'm going to make a background. I just don't have the time to be making a lot of backgrounds on these, although I could do some loose watercolor too, but for now, I think this is what it's going to be. So I wonder if any of you out there are doing this type of art. I just don't see a lot of whimsical art exactly in or close to this. And I wish more people, I'd like to see more people do it. But I'm enjoying, I do look at children's books, and that's a lot of what they do. I've got to do the heels of the boots, heaven forbid. And we'll make them, we used to call these stacked heels because they'd have like wood. And then figure there's going to be some dust under the feet, and then do a little heel. All right. And then we've got to have the dots at the top. Oh my goodness, look at this. I almost forgot her other fern arm. And I'll probably put a little line. Isn't there like a little line down the leaves of the fern? Let's try and see. Hopefully, sometimes it makes the pictures too fussy to add so much detail, but I do so enjoy detail. Oh my gosh. Very, very, very much. There. Okay. Yeah, it is definitely a brown. So if I look at my pencils, maybe a little darker on the green to break things up a bit. And you see how haphazardly I color? That is how I color. It's the way it is. I wonder if I added pink, is that still going to make it brown? Let's add pink and then go over it really softly. And I just add a little pink on the tops of the petals, and then see what that does. And is, oh gosh, pink's probably got brown in it too, so who knows. But we are nearing the end, and thanks for sticking with me. I do hope you will check out my website, my blog. I'm going to make this a real light, just a shocking, make it shocking. And her stacked heels, make these match. And you want to use the color in different places, you know, the same color in different places. It's fun to do that. Okay, so that looks like there's more color, but when we mute it with the water, let's see what happens to it. And then we'll get started on album. I've got some thoughts. I've been thinking about that. I've got thoughts. All right. Oh, I almost forgot the green. Heaven forbid. All right, there we go. I think that's about it for today, and I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like my little index card for, it's serving two masters. It's for Marigold and also for Fern, for Lisa Bardot, who has Bardot brush, and also for Daisy Yellow, Tammy Garcia. I'll be posting it on Facebook, and I'll also post it on my blog at buzzybarbie.blogspot.com.